Back with another one. And in this video, I'll be breaking down a little bit how the Black Panther Party dealt with and felt about the criminal element in the community. Now, before I continue, I want to put out a disclaimer. The Black Panther Party wasn't a gang. It wasn't the opposite of the Ku Klux Klan. It wasn't a black supremacist group or nothing like that. The party was a much bigger organization, stood for a whole lot more and some. So with that being said, the party took a different approach when it came to addressing the criminal element in the community. Now, although other groups may or may not have had an idea what to do with the negative criminal element in the community, the Black Panther Party was the leading political theorist when it came to diagnosing the problems in the community. And they had tagged how capitalism was being used to oppress us. So the goal was to liberate the people and get the people to understand what was going on and how to fight back. So with this in mind, the party looked at the criminals in the community as illegitimate capitalists, meaning that they played in the money game, but they had no say-so. They was just doing it for survival, not because they was criminals. They was just doing what they had to do. They didn't have no control over the corrupt money game. So the party was trying to get them to understand why they had to sell dope and hustle in the first place. So as a result, Huey Newton required donations from everybody. So during that time, if you was out here hustling, pimping, slanging, whatever it is you was doing, it was required that you make a donation. And another thing I want to get out there is that, for one, you saw the fruits of your labor, of your donations. It wasn't like you was just, this ain't no organized crime group where they was just leaning on the people in the stores in the community. Nah, your money, and this is where they tried to get you to understand exactly what was going on and what they was doing. For that matter, the party was pretty transparent when it came to that. And another thing, the party, most of their funds wasn't derived from no ill-gotten gains, so I don't want to hear that. The party sold plenty of papers, plenty of donations. Again, the party was an international movement. This wasn't no city or no street mafia. Alright? So now, of course, everybody didn't agree with the party. And it's a trip because back in them days, I had family on both sides. And again, this was before the crack era, so it was a lot of pimping going on. It was drugs, and it was after hours, and other typical hustling, of course. But there were those that didn't agree with the party and didn't care. So you got to understand, these is hustlers, criminals, killers, scramblers, and gamblers. They don't care nothing about that. Just like now. So in Huey, he referred to this as the stern stuff. And there definitely was a lot of stern stuff, allegedly. A lot of shootouts, a lot of beatings, a lot of mud holes, and all of the above, allegedly. It was a whole lot of that. So, and also you may have heard stories of Huey clashing with Frank Ward, the Pimp brothers, and as well as Felix Mitchell. But that was later on. See, Panther history could be broke down into two parts. But those two was two stories in itself. But again, the approach was the same. The party looked at them as illegitimate capitalists. So I don't care if you was a small timer or a big timer. And we all know Fee wasn't your average individual. But nevertheless, it was the same. The party didn't look at you no different, so the approach was pretty much the same. And this was all across the board, not only just in the city of Oakland. So I just want to get that out there. But yeah, once upon a time, if you was operating in Oakland, you definitely was required to make a donation. And again, this wasn't no organized mafia leaning on folks. It was getting control of the community. And that's why also, even before that, it was required that you come to these PE classes. But of course, a lot of cats, a lot of brothers ain't trying to go to no class. Just like now, ain't nobody trying to learn nothing. So a lot of people, they ain't trying to hear that. They'll rather pay, or they'll just try to put up some resistance. And that's where the Stern stuff came in. But that's how the party addressed the criminal element. And I want to get this out there because I don't want, not only now, but in no time in the future, it get misconstrued regarding the relationship of the Black Panther Party and the criminal element in the community. Again, and there's another word, it's a word you need to learn, it's called lumpen proletariat. That means, for the most part, poor people or oppressed people in a particular society. The proletariat class or lumpen proletariat class. Gotta say the lumpen. So, being that the party was a grassroots organization, a lot of the membership came up out of the lumpen, and as well as the criminal element was majority of the lumpen. So I say that to say, in my opinion, the party addressing the criminal element, or any element for that matter, in the community is in-house, because that is the goal, is getting control of the resources and the things in your community, the positive and the negative ones. So I don't care if it's salt, butter, sugar, prostitution, alcohol, cigarettes, diapers. You need to have a say-so in what goes in and out your community. And that was one of the things that the party had in mind. And again, the party was a big organization. This, if you ask me, you can consider this one component of the things the party fought for. Of course, the 10-point platform. But yeah, that's, in my opinion, how the party looked at it. And again, I'm gonna say a lot of this is allegedly. A lot of y'all, I know y'all want to hear a lot of the Stern stuff, the rough stuff, and it was a lot of that. A lot of shootings. You understand? But the party is damn near like the U.S. Army going against the cartels now. You understand? Of course, they got assistance from the hidden hand, but that's a whole different fight. That's who the party was fighting. But yeah, if you was rolling in Oakland, you definitely was required to make a donation. It's just as simple as that, and it definitely was for the greater good. No doubt about that. I don't care what nobody say. And again, everybody didn't agree with the party. Hence a lot of the static, hence a lot of the Stern stuff. Again, I got family members on both sides, so I got stories. Plenty of stories. After hour spot stories. So this definitely real. This ain't no game, and it still ain't no game. And that's the ultimate goal that the party had in mind, for the greater good of the community. And that's how they deal with the criminal element or any individuals who didn't agree with the party. It's one thing if you didn't agree, but when you try to go out your way to go against the grain, then that's when you definitely asking for attention. I'm going to put it like that. And again, the Black Panther Party wasn't a gang. It's pretty much the greatest machine we had to date as African Americans in the struggle. So I advocate everybody to research, do some PE, political education. So you don't got to take my word for it. Just like the party advocated back then to the criminal element, so they understood what the party was doing. And every move was transparent. as you know. And that's just what it is. And again, and I'm going to reiterate that because I can hear haters now trying to say, oh, that ain't no different than a gang. Nah, it's a lot of difference. Gangs don't start programs. Gangs don't help the people. So it's a big difference. Don't even try to compare. And this is another reason I want to dead any misconstruities that may come up when you think about the revolutionary groups and civil rights groups of the 70s and their relationship with criminals, as I may have mentioned earlier in this video. But that's the truth. This is the truth. And this is how the party looked at criminals, illegitimate capitalists, didn't have no say-so in the matter, just doing what they do to survive. And the party tried to get them to understand the whole reason why they had to sell dope or hustle or pimp in the first place. And that's what it was. And the people, the children, is bigger than you and your personal goals. And the party had that in mind. And they let it be known.